Part 11. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 101. Ding Yi, who was being urged by the police, was very worried. He didn't know who to ask for help. He was afraid of losing face, so he didn't dare to go to his neighbors. He has always been the one being favored in front of his relatives and friends, so he doesn't want to find them. The village chief is a suitable person, but the village chief was very disgusted with him after last night. Will calling the village chief make everyone in the village know? At this moment, the cell phone rang. Chiao Chiao. It's Chiao Chiao calling. At that time, Chiao Chiao fled all the way and finally caught a ride to the city. She heard from the village chief that Yang Yu was ill in the city hospital, so she wanted to try her luck to see if she could get close to Ding Yi. She didn't expect that as soon as the call was dialed, the call was connected. And Ding Yi anxiously begged her, "Chiao, help me quickly." At that time, Chiao Chiao was like a timely rain in Ding Yi's eyes. Ding Yi is almost turning into a hot pot ant. The driver refused to forgive him for beating him and defaulting on the bill. Ding Yi was wronged, and if he wanted to reconcile, he would have to pay something. The police left them to negotiate settlement terms themselves. After the driver came back from the hospital for examination, his attitude was tough and he not only wanted an apology, but also asked for compensation. The requirements include fares, inspection fees, medical fees, lost work fees, traffic fines, and mental damages. The driver Shizi opened his mouth and directly demanded 50,000 yuan in compensation. After learning that Ding Yi worked in a good public institution in the capital, the driver actually threatened him that if he didn't resolve the matter quickly, he would call Ding Yi's unit in the capital to demand money and an explanation. How does this work? Ding Yi almost fell to the ground. He is on the rise in his career and is expected to get a promotion and salary increase this year. If his employer knew that he was in the police station and had been charged with several crimes, his future would be in jeopardy not only this year but also in the future. Ding Yi begged for a long time and promised to compensate for all losses, and then the other party agreed to wait for his family to arrive. In addition, the police also showed him several penalty standards for disturbing order at the airport. Although there is no need to keep a criminal record, in addition to the fine, you will have to be detained for a few days. He has a very good attitude towards admitting his mistakes, so even though the assaulting the police item can be revoked, the others cannot. Not only does he need someone to fish for him now, he also needs money and help. Chiao Chiao's call came so well and so timely that it almost brought tears to his eyes. "Chiao Chiao, do you know where my parents are?" Ding Yi didn't know that Chiao Chiao had left the village. "I just called and they're not home." Chiao Chiao heard Ding Yi's impatience, and her mind changed. Although she didn't know what had happened, this was a good opportunity for her to stand up and show off. "They are probably looking for Ding Xia. Brother Yi, if anything happens, just tell me and I can help you." "You? Brother Yi, can't you still trust me? If you have anything to say to me, I will definitely do it. Or, I can rush over right away." "Where are you?" "I'll go right away." "There's no need to come over. You quickly find my parents and tell them that there's a misunderstanding here and I'm detained at the police station at the provincial capital airport. Ask them to bring money over quickly. Try to raise tens of thousands of yuan. In addition, let them quietly go find village chief Lei and ask him to come with you." "Quietly? Okay. Don't worry, I will definitely deliver the letter." "Thank you, Chiao Chiao." "Brother Yi, nothing will happen to you." "Chiao Chiao, I'll rely on you here." "My phone number." "According to police regulations, you have to hand it over after contacting the person. My phone may be turned off soon. You must help me. Make sure my parents hurry up, okay?" "Brother Yi, don't worry." After hanging up the phone, Qiao immediately bought a ticket and went to the provincial capital. Ah! She is not a heartless person. Now she has almost nothing, she must catch Ding Yi. Ding Yi needed help the most at this time, so she naturally did her part. She had to let him know that she was more trustworthy and reliable than his relatives. She is the only one who can provide help in times of need. And the later his relatives come, the more they will show her value. So, after the bus to the provincial capital departed, Qiao called the village. She knew that Ding Xia was still in the neighboring village, so she called Ding Xia directly. When there was no answer, she simply called Ding Xia and deliberately made it unclear. Ding Xia was confused after hearing this. Emergency? Detention? What's the mess? After she found out that her brother and sister-in-law couldn't get through the phone, she suddenly became anxious. She could only call Qiao. But this time, it was Qiao who didn't answer the phone. Qiao still resented what happened last night, so she waited until Ding Xia called her for the 10th time before answering. She forced Ding Xia to apologize again before telling her about Ding Yi. By the time Ding Xia hurried back to the village, another half-hour had passed. Ding Xia, Ding's father and Ding's mother found village chief Lei again, and called the provincial police station to confirm the situation. Another half-hour passed. The Ding family began to raise funds, but this process wasted a lot of their time. This money is not easy to borrow. The reason still lies with Yang Yu. The Ding family spent nearly 30,000 yuan on a banquet yesterday, and later gave Ding Xia another 24,000 yuan to fill the hole in Yang Yu's place, so that all the Ding family's cash was taken away. Now Ding Yi suddenly needs tens of thousands of yuan for an emergency. It's not that they don't have any, but that all their money is still deposited in the bank in town. It was almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I received the news. By the time I got to the bank, it would be nearly 6 o'clock. Where could I withdraw the money? Rural people like them use passbooks instead of bank cards, so they can't even use cash machines. Ding's father and Ding's mother could only borrow money from everywhere. When they finally collected 20,000 yuan and the village chief helped rent a van in the town, Qiao had already arrived in the provincial capital. In the police station, when the driver saw that it was getting dark, he was unwilling to wait any longer and refused to reconcile, saying that he would resolve the matter in his own way. Ding Yi was trembling with anxiety and begged over and over again. At this time, Qiao, panting and red-eyed, ran into the police station like an angel, giving Ding Yi something to rely on in his restless heart. God knows how shocking that feeling is. Ding Yi looked at Qiao with tears rolling down her face, and almost wanted to hold her head and cry. Afterwards, Qiao bowed and apologized at the police station, while begging the driver to be magnanimous and helping the officers serve tea and water. She also praised Ding Yi for how upright and kind he was in the past and how he worked hard to make progress. A good young man who brought glory to his fellow villagers, a kind man who donated 30,000 yuan yesterday to help the children in the village. How could such a person refuse to pay for a few hundred yuan in fares? How could you intentionally hurt someone? She squatted beside the driver and kept begging, and finally offered that she could give the driver 5,000 yuan for emergency medical treatment. Ding Yi looked at her, then took out an envelope full of money and put it in front of the driver. From the beginning to the end, she never asked Ding Yi for a single word. The shock in Ding Yi's heart never stopped. He knew that it was not easy for Qiao to make money, but she took out the hard-earned money without any complaints or demands. What is this if not true love? Have a nice weekend. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 102. Ding Yi looked at Qiao, then thought about his wife, and couldn't help but sneer. Yang Yu. Where are you now and what have you done? He immediately sent a message to Yang Yu asking her to contact the police station as soon as possible, but at this time, his so-called good wife had not made any movement. As for the girl in front of him, he clearly betrayed her and never gave her anything or promised anything, but she came here alone and as fast as possible, more reliable than his relatives. She was humble and bowed and apologized to strangers in this police station. She was doing it all for him. Let me ask, can Yang Yu do this? And what is the most shocking thing? It's that trust. She believed in him unconditionally. How valuable. Chiao begged hard, and the driver finally agreed to extend the final payment time for the compensation amount by another 2 hours. For Ding Yi, this biggest problem has been solved. Otherwise, if the driver continues to cause trouble, his job will be in jeopardy. I'm sorry he thought of his unfeeling towards Chiao last night and said such hurtful words. Ding Yi felt that he had to apologize to Chiao. Brother Yi, please stop saying such things. The top priority is to help you solve your difficulties. Chiao shed 2 lines of tears. It's a pity that I don't have enough money. You've helped me enough. Have you, eaten? I forgot. Ding Yi was deeply moved again. So Chiao has been hungry all day? Under Ding Yi's persuasion, Chiao agreed to go eat. A quarter of an hour later, Chiao bought more than a dozen cups of milk tea and distributed them to the police station staff. She also brought a delicious late-night snack to the driver and Ding Yi. As for herself, she only bought a steamed bun and ate it, saying she wasn't too hungry. Ding Yi's conscience became increasingly difficult to deal with, and he pushed out the late-night snack that Chiao bought for him, insisting that if Chiao didn't eat it, he wouldn't eat it either. So, when Ding's father, Ding's mother, and the village chief arrived in a hurry, what they saw was Ding Yi Chiao eating a boxed lunch together with a piece of ribs in it, pushing each other. Huang Yakin called her shameless and dirty at that time. Mother Ding was also angry. At this time, her son was still hooking up with the vixen. It was over, it was over, it was over. If this continues, all the plans of their Lao Ding family will be ruined. Mother Ding rushed up, grabbed Chiao's hair from behind, slapped her in the face, and called her a bitch and a vixen. But this time, Ding Yi stepped forward, stopped Ding's mother sternly, and protected Chiao behind him. Feeling Chiao holding his lower back and shivering, Ding Yi's heroic spirit rose and his back straightened up. He must protect the woman who loves him. Ding's mother almost died when she saw this. At that time, she slapped her thighs in the police station and cried, "You have committed evil." The good son she raised ended up being lost in the hands of a useless vixen. He studied in vain for so many years and spent so much money in vain. What evil had the old Ding family done? How could they honor their ancestors? The police station was no place for them to run wild. The police officers came over and warned that anyone who made trouble again would be locked up together. Mother Ding slowly stopped talking. Huang Yakin felt aggrieved for Yang Yu and was just about to call Chiao's father when Ding Yi came and asked, saying that Chiao was just here to help. He immediately persuaded Chiao to leave and asked Ding's mother to give Chiao 5,500 yuan first. Skillful. The 5,000 is the money she helped pay the driver, and the other 500 is the round-trip fare and expenses. Mother Ding held her pocket and cursed in her heart, "The little bitch wants to stick it out by herself, why should she pay it back? Who wants her to step in?" The money was not enough in the first place, but an extra 500 was found inexplicably. This Chiao is indeed the god of plague. Mother Ding thought about it several times, and finally asked Chiao to wait for her outside. Ding Yi knew that Huang Yakin had a good relationship with Yang Yu, so he quickly asked Huang Yakin to keep the fact that Chiao came to the police station a secret for the sake of his marriage to Yang Yu. At that time, Huang Yakin did not agree immediately. While the victim driver, the village chief and others were negotiating with the police on the solution, she came out and made this call to Yang Yu. "That scumbag is shameless. Bah! Protect marriage. Protect marriage and hide it from you. Yang Yu, No matter what, I will always be by your side. What do you want to do? Do you want me to help you take care of Xiao Xiao? Or give it to Ding? Do you want them to take care of the family pressure? Just tell me, sister will help you handle it. Me. Taoran thought for a while. Sister, please stop being a bad person. What do you mean? Let them go. Yes, let them be. It's natural for dogs to eat shit. If I stop him from eating once, I can't stop him the next time. If he wants to eat, let him eat. If he doesn't eat in secret, how can she get evidence? If she didn't let him go, why would he make more and more mistakes? What she wanted was not a divorce, nor was she just asking him to cleanse himself and leave the house, but she wanted him to vomit out everything he had swallowed, and finally be punished with his pee go naked. However, we can't let him take advantage of it in vain. Since he ate it secretly, he must pay a price. Sister, why don't you represent the village and make some conditions with him? What? You, please make it clear. Don't the village need charity funds? Let Ding Yi donate. He is a child raised by the village, so he has to do his duty, right? The village chief and you run for him and keep secrets for him, so does he also have to do it for the village? Do you want something, he had to pay for it no matter what. Hush money. What do you call stealing? This is charity. This is what he should do. I'm afraid my old lay won't be able to do it. Isn't he begging you? Then come forward and talk to him. You can keep today's affairs a secret or not call Dad Chiao, but he must also do something good. We are justified, right? Don't worry, he has money. All his money is kept in the Ding family. Huang Yakin burst out laughing. You really think so? Ding Yi and the Ding family love money and are afraid of poverty, so perhaps the best way to deal with them is to start with money. When Ding Yi is completely destitute, can the whole family still work together? When Ding Yi loses everything, can Xiao Xiao's love for him last forever? But Ding Yi's money is also yours. Sister, I want him to suffer a little bit. I don't feel bad at all if the money is used for good deeds. It's much better than staying in the hands of a white-eyed wolf. Also, Huang Yakin thinks it's pretty good. Then let's do it. By the way, sister, are you sure that Xiao Xiao has broken up with her family? Yes. Xiao Xiao just hugged me and cried, begging me not to call her father. She said that even if she died, she would never go home or marry the man at the head of the village. She was very decisive like that. Her father, he was also very angry and publicly said that if he found her, he would break her legs and break away from her father-daughter relationship. Oh, that's better. For his own sake and for Xiao Xiao's sake, Ding Yi has to let you and the village chief keep it a secret. You can speak out as a matter of course. Xiao Yu, what I'm worried about is that Xiao Xiao won't let go of your servant Ding Yi. You have to be more careful about this matter. Yes, I understand. Thank you, sister. Taoran couldn't get it. Xiao Xiao's piece of dogskin plaster is what she needs right now. As long as she uses it properly, it is a sharp tool that can help her get twice the result with half the effort. Thanks to Xiaoao and Shuchen Ian for the reward of the daily corpse baby. I love you and thank you all for your monthly votes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 103. The two were talking when they heard a commotion not far away. Some people are making trouble, and some are begging. They all heard that the sharp voice belonged to Ding's mother, and the cry and begging came from Xiao Xiao. Sister, go and have a look. Taoran once again regretted that the useless mobile phones of this era could not broadcast the live broadcast to her, so she could only rely on listening and thinking. She pressed the record button casually, not knowing what she could record. It turned out that for the sake of her son's big future, Ding's mother found Xiao Xiao waiting on the bench outside the bathroom, and then slapped her out with a big photon. She had already said that she would hit her every time she saw him. She still didn't believe it, this fly couldn't be driven away. But she never expected that the little bitch would point to the surveillance camera in the corridor and said that if she dared to do anything again, he would directly call the police officer to arrest her. Mother Ding didn't want to listen to her. Arrest me? Then you can't even do sex with my Xiao Yi. Mother Ding grabbed Xiao Xiao's hair again. My Ding Yi is a filial son. If you think he will break up with the family for you, you might as well give it a try. If she weren't afraid of being entangled with this damn bitch, Ding's mother would only wish to scratch her face so that she would never be able to seduce her. People. Xiao Xiao was in pain and couldn't help shouting, which attracted the police officers to come and separate the two. If you do anything at the police station, you want to go to jail, right? No, no, we were joking. Officer, I'm sorry, we made a little too much noise. Mother Ding apologized with a fake smile, isn't that right? Miss Xiao? Yes, I'm sorry, we were joking. Xiao Xiao lowered her head. The two of them didn't dare to cause trouble anymore, so Huang Yakin took the initiative to be the peacemaker and pulled the two of them aside. Ding's mother changed her strategy. Xiao Xiao, if you don't stay away from Ding Yi, don't even think about getting back the 5,000 you spent on Ding Yi today. Xiao Xiao sneered, if Ding Yi uses my money and kicks me away, then of course I have to follow him all the time in order to survive. Both of them are not good at each other. They are at odds with each other and refuse to admit defeat. There was almost going to be another commotion here, but Ding's father came over in a hurry. What time is it? Ding Yi's punishment has come down, and someone from the driver's family is here too. Please calm down. Ding Yi disrupted the security order at the airport, attracted onlookers, and caused chaos in the security check. According to regulations, not only would he be fined, but he would also be detained for 3 to 5 days. However, since Ding Yi had a good attitude in admitting his mistakes and had no criminal record, he was finally ordered to be detained for 3 days, which was regarded as a warning. Village Chief Lei was very helpful and kept busy. Finally, the police station did not pursue any further charges. So what they have to deal with now is mainly the driver. Ding Yi and the village chief talked with him for a long time in a sincere manner. The driver injured his hand, so according to the examination report issued by the hospital, it was recommended that he rest for a week. Therefore, Ding Yi needs to pay the driver's medical expenses, physical examination fees, nutritional expenses, round-trip travel expenses to the hospital, 1 week's lost work expenses and compensation for this week. This amount totals 10,000. Including Ding Yu's fare to the airport, the fines, towing fees, etc., it was another 2,000 yuan. The driver's family also rushed over. After hearing that Ding's mother was bragging about how her son had donated money to charity in the past 2 days and what an aspiring young man he was, they suddenly felt that the compensation was not enough. They said that they did not rule out that the driver's hands would have sequelae in the future, so they were not satisfied with the compensation result. In addition, the Ding family had to pay for their travel expenses to the provincial capital and lost work expenses. Ding Mubai is not good at it, but when it comes to money, she is better than a monkey. She had already paid a security fine just now, and the thought of paying more than 5,000 to Xiao Xiao was already painful. Now the other party still wants the lion to open his mouth. How can he agree to this? And she only brought more than 20,000 yuan in total. If this continues, wouldn't it all be wasted? She was unhappy at the time and started a quarrel with the driver's family, scolding them for being greedy. It's okay if it doesn't make any noise, but if it does, the driver won't be happy either. Together with his family, he expressed dissatisfaction with Ding Yi's attitude. Not only did he double the amount of the claim, he also demanded severe punishment for Ding Yi. The Ding family didn't take it seriously at first. Is it they who have the final say on the severe punishment? There must be a standard for compensation, right? However, the other party said bluntly that they had plenty of time and planned to sue Ding Yi. This time, Ding Yi panicked. Although he knew that the other party was deliberately threatening, he couldn't be stubborn. Who has the time? He still has to go to work. Who has the time and energy to litigate? If he really wants to go to court, the fine may not be less than it is now, and he will have to pay more court fees. If his employer finds out, will his iron job be affected? No matter how aggrieved the Ding family was, they had to swallow their anger. An hour later, Chao Ran received a message from Huang Yakan, saying that in the end the Ding family agreed to pay a compensation of 20,000 yuan in one lump sum before the driver was willing to sign the settlement. She couldn't help but laugh. Therefore, evil people will be punished by evil people, and if their character is not good, they will be punished wherever they go. Chao Ran, has Mother Ding returned Xiao's money to her? Huang Yakan, after paying the fine, the driver's compensation, and the round-trip fare, they didn't have enough money to pay Xiao, so they still owe it. Ding Yi will be detained for 3 days. Yes, 3 days. So we went back first. Originally, Ding's mother wanted to take Xiao back to the village, but the girl ran away and disappeared for some reason. We searched around but couldn't find anyone. She was obviously hiding. We still want to stay by Ding Yi's side. Because the rental car is paid based on time, Ding Yi's parents are reluctant to part with the money, so they can only warn Ding Yi, and now they are ready to go back to the village with us. Chao Ran is happy. Ding Yi will be detained for 3 days. He does not have an ID card and cannot fly. His registered permanent residence is in Beijing, so it is difficult to apply for a temporary ID card. Of course, he lost a lot of money this time, and he probably couldn't bear to part with the 1,000 yuan ticket. He can only take the bus. Therefore, she would have at least 5 or 6 days without seeing the scumbag. Chao Ran slept comfortably. As a female star, she has always been self-disciplined. She woke up at 6 in the morning. The elders of the Yang family still don't know that she has returned to Beijing, so today, she wants to invite the Yang family to dinner and talk about her and Ding Yi. It was still early, so she planned to exercise and run to find the old man for breakfast. But as a patient, she disliked Yang Yu's current physical condition. Too weak. Not only does he not have the power to restrain a chicken, but he can't even kick the scumbag out of bed, so how can he have the power to defend himself? No wonder the scumbag in the story can easily take care of her by himself. And she was imprisoned in the courtyard for so many days, but she didn't even have the strength to escape. Really? Chao Ran had learned some self-defense techniques and practiced free fighting in order to film martial arts scenes, but if his foundation was poor, everything would be in vain. So she had to help Yang Yu practice quickly. Just do it, she decided to start with a morning run. Chao Ran knew that the old man would be in the park in the morning, and it was only a few kilometers away from Yang Yu's house, not far. But she still overestimated the quality of this body. She was already running slowly enough, but when she finally got to the park, she was still dizzy and panting, her hands and feet were weak and she couldn't keep up. Stomach acid surged up, and she couldn't help but go to the trash can and vomit. She vomited and sighed, determined to make a quick physical plan for this body. Thanks to Kevin KCI and Xiao for the reward. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 104. Chao Ran touched her pockets and found that she didn't even have a tissue except her cell phone. She sighed again. At this embarrassing moment, a slender hand reached out and handed over a pack of tissues. Thank you, there was a kind person to help, so of course Chao Ran took it. This is a man. He has the sun on his back, and the sunlight has coated his tall and strong figure with a layer of gold. It seems that his whole person has a halo. Tao Ran only glanced at him because he felt uncomfortable. He looks good and is quite pleasing to the eye. His eyes are clear and he doesn't look bad. The smile is quite bright and sunny. But his next sentence made Tao Ran instantly disgusted. Have we met before? An old cliché. Haha, let's see if we can see you again next time. Thank you for the tissue. Tao Ran turned around in his pocket and found a steel coin and threw it into the man's hand. He turned around and left without saying a word. She quickly found the old man. Then speechless. What did she see? A large group of old men and women were queuing up to receive free eggs. The old people were very excited and praised the young people who distributed the eggs as good people. The young men also had blushing faces. While excited, they asked the old men and women to leave their phone numbers. They also told them not to forget to go to a certain building in the afternoon for a free physical examination and a health lecture. They said that there would be more free gifts distributed then. What made Tao Ran most speechless was that not only did her old man join in, but he also encouraged the old people who were practicing Tai Chi to come and collect the eggs. Grandpa, it's all lies. Tao Ran went up to stop him. It's all a scam. I borrowed free lectures to use your phone numbers, and used free gifts to lure you into shopping. You stinky girl, you came out of nowhere. The old man pulled his granddaughter over and winked at her to shut up and go aside. Old man, why are you still greedy for such a small advantage? Your grandpa, am I that stupid? The old man put his hands behind his back and raised his chest. Aren't I organizing everyone to harvest wool? The phone numbers everyone left are either fake or belong to the children at home. We only get eggs, no one will go to the lecture. For it. So if they call, they either can't get through, or they have to be scolded by those sons and daughters. If anyone is in a bad mood, they can still report it. Hey, even if they can't catch them by following the clues, they can still be banned. The phone number. Do you understand? We are asking them to lose their wives and soldiers to eliminate harm for the people. So don't make trouble and just have fun. Tao Ran looked at the few young people. Because they were surrounded by a group of enthusiastic old men and women asking questions, they didn't even have time to hand out eggs. How could they have the mind to doubt and distinguish which phone calls were genuine and fake? Judging from the cooperation of this group of old people, it is definitely not the first time they have done this. No, in less than 3 minutes after more than a dozen cartons of eggs were distributed, the old men and women who had just gathered in a large crowd dispersed, leaving only a group of liars looking at each other. The scammer found out that he was suspected of being deceived, but he could only jump on the spot. They still dare to call the police, the old man disagreed. They will definitely suffer the loss of being dumb. What else could Tao Ran say? It's better not to do things like this. You all have old arms and legs. If you suffer a loss. Unfortunately, the old man is shrewd, but he has a ruthless grandson-in-law. Don't be afraid, we Xiaozhang are watching all the time. Xiaozhang is one of 5, it's completely impossible for those people to cause trouble. Xiaozhang. Isn't it right in front? The old man raised his chin. The man in front, isn't he the one who just handed the tissue to Yang Yu? The man was coming with a smile. The old man patted him on the shoulder. Xiaozhang, don't you know him? He used to live in the same alley as us, and his house is the third from the left in our courtyard. So he just wasn't trying to strike up a conversation? Is it because she is a villain? No matter how thick-skinned Tao Ran is and no matter how good his acting skills are, he can't help but blush at this moment. Hello, it seems we are destined, see you again. Zhang Chen smiled again and extended his hand. Tao Ran awkwardly went up to shake hands and recalled the memories in his mind. The old neighbor is 3 years older than Yang Yu. They used to play together when they were young. Later, Yang Yu moved out of the courtyard with her parents' work, and they met less often. After Zhang Chen graduated from high school, he joined the army. After so many years, Yang Yu's memory of him was indeed a little blurry. But Tao Ran discovered that Zhang Chen had a starry eye when he looked over. Why? Does he like Yang Yu? Zhang Chen took the initiative to ask for Yang Yu's mobile phone number and took them to have breakfast. On the way back, the old man said leisurely, Xiao Zhang just returned from the army this year. He also made meritorious service in the army. He could have continued to stay in the army, but his parents were not in good health, so he came back. Isn't he a talented person? Not bad. His speech and behavior were very good. He looks solid and steady, which is much better than Ding Yi. He's not married yet. Oh. Our family and Zhang Chen's family are very close, and we know each other very well. Back then, I was thinking about bringing you two together. But I didn't know that you fell in love with Ding Yi. To be honest, Grandpa, whether it was before or now, Grandpa thinks that Ding Yi is a person from his appearance to his family background. In terms of character and ability, nothing can compare to Zhang Chen. I really don't know what you see in him. Who says it's not? What about Zhang Chen? Tao Ran didn't want to judge arbitrarily, but people like Ding Yi definitely only deserve to be in the garbage dump. Tao Ran took the old man to Mother Yang's place to have some food. After Yang's mother retired 2 years ago, she devoted herself to raising Yang Yu's children, so she was at home every day. When Yang's father heard that his daughter was coming home, he immediately came back from work. Seeing Yang Yu coming home early from the countryside, Yang's father and mother were stunned. Yang Rui shouted "Mom" and jumped into Tao Ran's arms in surprise. Although Tao Ran has played many roles, he has never played a mother. This time, apart from being fresh, I was even more confused. Because of her illness, she had made up her mind not to have children since she was a child, but the moment the child called Mom and jumped into her arms, she still had a rather strange feeling in her heart. After coaxing the baby well, Tao Ran calmly explained everything about her and Ding Yi, and expressed her determination to separate from him. The Yang family spent half an hour digesting it, and spent half an hour scolding them with indignation. After that, they began to care about Yang Yu in all aspects. Tao Ran expressed his attitude that he had already thought about it. After observing and confirming that she was not forcing her smile, the Yang family finally felt relieved. Yang Yu's conditions are very good in all aspects, so her family does not think that her life will be worse than now after separation from Ding Yi. As for the children, they are still young anyway, and they have grown up with the Yang family. They have no deep feelings for Ding Yi and the Ding family, so there is no obstacle. Long-term pain is worse than short-term pain, and cutting it off early will be beneficial to everyone. Tao Ran, but before I get divorced, I want to take back everything I can. What I can't take back, I'll have to pay for it. I already have an idea. In the future, I need my parents' and grandpa's help and cooperation. Naturally, her decision was supported by her whole family. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 105. After dinner that day, Tao Ran called Huang Yakin. Huang Yakin told her that it was almost dawn when they rushed back from the police station, and they did not return directly to the village after arriving in the town. Ding's father and Ding's mother went to the bank in town. The money they borrowed yesterday had to be repaid today, so they went to withdraw the money. The village chief who followed him to the bank struck while the iron was hot and said that since the Ding family had money to save, they should quickly pay back the 30,000 yuan in the IOU so that he could do something for the children earlier. Ding's father and Ding's mother said bluntly that they had no money, but they were so frightened that they hid their bank books. Huang Yakin pulled her husband and turned around to leave. Don't talk nonsense with them. Call Yang Yu later and ask her if she would like to find a solution. Upon hearing this, the Ding family couldn't help but tremble. They were afraid that Huang Yakin would talk nonsense to his daughter-in-law. They immediately followed him and said that they would pay back the money they owed when they returned to the village. But back in the village, one of the two was invisible, and the other was pretending to be stupid and procrastinating. Until now, none of the arrears promised to be paid have been paid. "Sister, I have an idea." "Just wait." Tao Ran gritted his teeth. She originally planned to do something. So, half an hour later, under Tao Ran's instruction, Father Yang made an angry phone call to Ding Yi's home. Ding Yi humming picked it up. "What's going on with your Ding family?" Father Yang, who had always been elegant, roared, shocking Mother Ding. "Where did Ding Yi go? Why can't he get through the phone? Tell him to answer the phone." Xiao Yi is not here. His mobile phone seems to be broken. What else should I say? Do you really want to tell the Yang family that their son is squatting in the bureau? Are you all still human? Why did you let my Xiaoyu come back alone? Why don't you ignore Xiaoyu when she is so sick? Why are you, the Ding family, so cruel? You ignore her and yet you dare to lock her in the house? Let me tell you, if anything happens to Xiaoyu, I want the entire Ding family to go to jail. Mother Ding was completely panicked. From yesterday to now, they have called Yang Yu at least hundreds of times throughout the day. But I just can't get through. They wanted to call their in-laws, but they felt guilty. Yang Yu has already gone back, and she doesn't know how she complained to her in-laws. Have you exposed the incident between your son and Xiao? Moreover, the son is squatting now and cannot return to Beijing immediately. What should they say about this? Therefore, even if they were concerned about Yang Yu's current situation, they could only endure it. I thought Yang Yu was just making a scene, but who knew he was really sick? Xiaoyu, what's wrong with her? How is her condition? Thinking that many people in front of the door yesterday said that Yang Yu was seriously ill, the Ding family became even more panicked. I was carried almost all the way back to Beijing. Fortunately, I returned to Beijing in time, and I am still undergoing surgery. You probably don't know that if you delay for a while, Xiaoyu's life will be in danger. Tell me where Ding Yi is. Why is that kid using his cell phone? Shut down? Where did he go? How did Mother Ding know that Father Yang was blushing and reading his daughter's manuscript from the paper? Xiao Yi is also sick. He is in the town hospital. He has acute gastroenteritis and went to the emergency room at midnight last night. Ding's mother was so anxious that she told lies casually. You can't say that if your son is arrested, he will have to stay in the police station for 3 days, right? The Yang family didn't want to see their son. They wanted to save face. If they knew about this, they would look down on their son even more. And will they go to the police station to ask? If this question reveals that Xiao also went there, wouldn't it be even more unclear? Mother Ding sniffed, my Xiao is too sick to even answer the phone. I definitely didn't mean to ignore you. Gastroenteritis? What a coincidence. Yang's father was already very angry, so he yelled out now, and the effect was pretty good. I tell you, I don't believe it. Did that boy Ding Yi get up to something? So my little UK would rather be sick than go back to Beijing alone? What happened to them in the countryside? Why did you lock her up? Our Yang Yu will come out soon. Then I will ask clearly what you have done. With Ding Yi's current attitude, and your behavior of locking my Yang Yu at home, I can sue you. Sue you for illegal detention. If you are punished for multiple crimes, I want your whole family to be imprisoned for several years. Mother Ding was still shouting misunderstanding over there, but Father Yang hung up the phone. Tao Ran, on the other hand, was lying on the sofa eating fresh strawberries. Seeing Father Yang fuming, he took a strawberry and stuffed it into Father Yang's mouth. Then, she sent another message to Huang Yakin, telling her that there would be good news soon. An hour later, Huang Yakin's call came. Yang Yu, you are so amazing. Just now Ding Yi took the initiative to come to my house, brought 10,000 yuan, and asked us to help her lie. She said that if Yang Yu called, she would say that Ding Yi was sick, and she would have to help them hide Qiao's story. My family doesn't know how to lie, so I became a bad person. I told them that everything was for the sake of the village. Since Ding Yi wanted to lie for them, Ding Yi had to do something. So they agreed to send another 5,000 later. It can be regarded as Ding Yi's personal assistance to the village. Yeah. Sister, just keep it secret for them. I'll pretend I don't know what they're doing. Yang Yu, it seems that the Ding family's money is about to bottom out. Well, I guessed it, but how do you know? Ding Xia's father and mother must have posted the money for the wine business. Including alcohol and tobacco, it would be 30,000 yuan. The night before yesterday, they helped Ding Xia pay 24,000 yuan. The provincial capital cost at least more than 20,000 yuan. In order to ensure stability, the village chief and his wife, who knew all of Ding Yi's scandals, had to cough up another 15,000. Even so, they still owed Qiao more than 5,000. A rough calculation shows that in the past few days, nearly 100,000 yuan has been spent. Although they were greedy for the Yang family's money, and Ding Yi had always subsidized them, in the past few years they had been able to work as leeches with peace of mind, their living standards had improved significantly, and they had spent a lot of money. So regardless of whether Ding Yi's savings are in their hands or not, they will definitely suffer a lot this time. Is there anything about this village that I don't know about? Huang Yakin laughed. Ding Xia went back to her parents' house today to ask about Ding Yi. As a result, she and Ding's mother quarreled over money. What Ding's mother meant was that she held a wine party the day before yesterday to support her uncle's family. So whether it's according to reason or custom, this money should come from my uncle's family. Ding Xia was very angry as a man. The Ding family wanted to host the banquet in two places. They had agreed from the beginning that the woman would pay for the banquet, so they made a big show of extravagance and waste. There was no reason to ask for money from their family now, so I refused. Ding's mother started to make a fuss, saying that her family had emptied her family's money in order to host a banquet for them, and asked Ding Xia to either give her the share money she received the day before yesterday, or take out the 24,000 she had given in advance the night before. In short, Ding Xia has to come up with some money. Naturally, Ding Xia refused. At that time, mother and daughter were facing each other, crying and arguing. His sister-in-law next door went to call me, so I was the peacemaker again. Are you saying that I still don't understand this matter? He Chaoran smiled. Sure enough, sure enough. The most important thing in this family's eyes is money. As long as they grasp this, they will never be able to live in peace. Where did we end up? Has the internal strife already begun? We'll see. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 106. That afternoon, Yang Yu's father went to Ding Yi's unit. He had been there several times before, so everyone in Ding Yi's office knew him. He went there confidently, saying frankly that his daughter was sick and hospitalized, and Ding Yi couldn't spare time, so he asked him to look for his daughter's medical insurance card in his desk. The reason is legitimate and honest, and they are all a family. Who in the office will stop Father Yang? Since neither Yang Yu nor Ding Yi had any other bank cards, Chaoran guessed that Ding Yi's card passbook might be hidden in the office, so Yang's father came here. After looking through it carefully, there was no such thing. Even the locked drawers were pried open, but they were not found. In the end, he didn't find anything. He found a ledger that recorded various expenses of Ding Yi and Yang Yu's family over the years. After dinner, Taoran had nothing to do, so she started her fitness plan. She found a gym nearby. When she jumped off the treadmill panting, a bottle of water and a clean towel were handed to her. As expected, we meet again. Still Zhang Chen. You actually have the habit of exercising, Zhang Chen laughed. What do you call it? Because you have been lazy since you were a child. Taoran clicked his tongue. He didn't speak well. No wonder his presence in Yang Yu's heart was so low. I'm not in good health and need to exercise. I had just run for 3 minutes, and my legs and feet were no longer in control. I think so, Zhang Chen had seen her a long time ago. Shall I arrange a coach for you? It will be convenient for you to come often in the future. It sounds like you own this restaurant. I drove it. For it. Taoran remembered that the old man said that Zhang Chen did not follow his family's arrangements to work after he returned from the army, but chose to start his own business. When she asked, she found out that in addition to this gym, Zhang Chen also ran a security company. Security company, she became interested. Yes. Do some work such as site security, security inspections, property escorts, rescue projects, conference activities, and the protection of celebrities. A good job. 5 minutes later, Taoran and Zhang Chen sat in the leisure area on the side and drank drinks. After further questioning, it turned out that the employees in Zhang Chen's 2 companies were all brothers who retired from the army around the same time as him, and 2 of them were still special forces/soldiers. Many of them have poor family conditions and are anxious to change careers and find jobs. However, there are too few jobs for veterans, and most of them work as drivers and security guards. Zhang Chen feels that it is a pity. Everyone has the ability. Instead of working for others, it is better to be your own boss. Zhang Chen had money, made investments, and promised to pay dividends to the brothers, so a group of brothers all followed him. Zhang Chen handed over a business card. The security company has just started, and there isn't much work, but the prospects are good. Everyone usually works out at this gym, and you can earn some money as a coach after working out. It's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're so generous, Taoran gave him a thumbs up. They are professional counterparts. No wonder, the old man was so confident this morning that he even dared to deceive the liar. It turned out that the first-level security personnel was by his side. Can we accept 3 small orders for the sake of our old neighbor, she asked with a smile. Do you have a job? Hold head high. If there's business, of course I'll take it. No matter how difficult your order is, I have to take it. It's not difficult, it's very simple. But the 3rd order may take a little time. Taoran's heart immediately relaxed. In the plot, Yang Yu hired a private detective to investigate and collect evidence. But of those people, how could these veterans be so capable and reliable? Veterans' ability, discipline, and sense of justice are there. They are also acquaintances who know everything about them, and they can be relied on with peace of mind. That silly girl Yang Yu really has a lot of connections around her, but unfortunately, she has never noticed them. So the next day, surveillance was installed on everything from the old man's courtyard house to Yang Yu's parents' apartment to Yang Yu's 2 apartments. The location was professionally debugged and covered up by Zhang Chen and others. It is quite hidden and cannot be found under normal circumstances. This is the first order Taoran has placed. The second order she placed was to ask Zhang Chen's people to come forward as soon as possible to do escort work according to her instructions when she was in need. As for the 3rd order, Zhang Chen's people are now watching Ding Yi's every move. Regarding the 3rd order, Zhang Chen frowned and said that his company was for security, not paparazzi. Taoran said confidently, if business is not good, why don't you expand your business? What's more, following and defense are one and the same. Following the target is the best defense, right? She spoke plausibly, and Zhang Chen nodded in response. Soon, Tao Ran's dislike for Ding Yi reached a new level. Because of scum. After receiving the order, Zhang Chen's people went directly to the police station where Ding Yi was and started to keep a close eye on him. But what did you notice? As soon as the scumbag who had been squatting for 3 days came out of the police station, he hugged Xiao Xiao, who was waiting outside the police station with tears in his eyes. Both of them felt wronged and felt that the whole world had failed them. If it hadn't been for the scumbag's phone ringing, the two of them wouldn't have known how tired they were. The two of them also went to a restaurant for a meal. During this period, Xiao Xiao kept crying. She grabbed the scumbag's hand and begged again and again. After hesitating for a long time, the scumbag finally nodded. Afterwards, the scumbag returned to his hometown to pack his luggage, while Xiao Xiao bought a lot of clothes and necessities in the provincial capital, and then waited at the station. The scumbag returned to the provincial capital that night. It was already very late, so the two opened a hotel and stayed in the same room. The next day, Tao Ran received a stack of photos from Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen was cautious, fearing that Yang Yu would be upset, and even invited her to a restaurant with a nice atmosphere to treat her to dinner. But he didn't expect that Yang Yu had no reaction after seeing the photo. Instead, there was a hint of relief on his face, which made him confused. After last night, their relationship took a step further, and then they bought a ticket to the capital. They are already on the way. They will arrive tomorrow. Tao Ran guessed it. Whether Xiao Xiao is for love, profit, revenge, or money, Ding Yi is what she must grasp. Ding Yi was moved by Xiao Xiao several times, and what he needed most now, after being frustrated, was an interpretive flower, a warm embrace, and a woman who admired him so that his damaged self-esteem could be rebuilt. So it was inevitable that the two people who had known each other for a long time would get together. Eat more dishes. Zhang Chen ordered a table of dishes, which were spicy. Don't be too sad, and don't keep it in your heart. Eat more and drink more, and don't treat yourself badly. This boiled beef is good. You liked chicken wings when you were a kid, try this, cumin. He carefully picked up food for Yang Yu. I'm fine. You said it was okay. You don't look like you these days, Zhang Chen muttered. Tao Ran raised his eyebrows. This boy really has Yang Yu in his heart. After not seeing each other for so many years, he still kept Yang Yu's character in mind. Maybe she thought she was holding back the pain and forcing a smile. Tao Ran took another look at him and saw the concern in his eyes. Yang Yu wants to live a new life, but she wonders if Zhang Chen can be used as a reference. Tao Ran simply helped Yang Yu test Zhang Chen. She deliberately ordered a drink, drank several glasses of wine, and then became unconscious. Zhang Chen didn't take advantage of anyone's danger. He hurriedly called for the waiter to pour her honey water, begged the waiter to help her to the car, and then sent her to the gym. He asked someone at the front desk to help her to the lounge, and the whole process was continuous. She didn't even touch it. Later Yang Yu asked, "Why don't you send me home?" He said, "You are in a special period. If someone sees you being sent home by a foreigner, you will easily get into trouble and it will not be good for you. Why don't you send me to my parents? It's late, they should rest. And if you drink to drown your sorrows, they will be sad if they see you. The gym is a public place, so this is the best place." Tao Ran was very satisfied with this trial. This person is quite attentive. If Yang Yu is attracted to him in the future, it will be a good choice. Soon, Huang Yakan also called. She guessed that Ding Yi must be anxious to return to Beijing, so she blocked him on the day when Ding Yi returned to his hometown to pack his luggage. She secretly threatened Ding Yi and forced him to promise to pay off the remaining 20,000 yuan in the IOU within 3 days after returning to Beijing. Before Ding Yi left, he was stopped by Ding Xia. Ding's mother kept asking Ding Xia for money in those days. Ding Xia was forced to have no choice but to give her mother Ding a share of 10,000 yuan after a quarrel. For this reason, her husband's family and her husband were very angry, thinking that her family was acting nonsense. But Mother Ding was still not satisfied and was still forcing her to get at least another 10,000. Ding Xia was furious when she heard that her brother and Xiao Qiao were hooking up. She is dissatisfied everywhere, and the root cause lies with Xiao Qiao. I don't respect myself, so why should she, the most innocent person, be the unluckiest? She directly asked Ding Yi for her share of the money and the money taken away by Ding's mother. Ding Yi had no money, so he naturally refused. The two quarreled, and Ding Yi, who was down on his luck, felt unhappy. He believed that the source of his recent bad luck was that the girl didn't watch the door carefully that night. The girl was too ignorant and deserved everything. When he became angry, he slapped Ding Xia in the face and said that they could have no contact with each other in the future. Ding Yi, on the other hand, was penniless, had no card, no money, and no ID card, so he had no choice but to ask his parents for money. Ding's father scolded, Ding's mother cried, Ding Xia made trouble, and the whole family was in a state of panic. Ding's mother gave Ding Yi 2,000 for travel expenses, but Ding Yi thought that both he and Xiao Qiao had to return to Beijing. How could this little money be enough? In addition, he owed Xiao Qiao more than 5,000, and the money had to be repaid, so he asked his parents directly for 20,000. All the money they had saved for several years had been wiped out in the past few days. For Ding's father and Ding's mother, such expenditure was like a life-threatening expense. When they heard that their son wanted 20,000 yuan, the two of them immediately became wary. I'm just going back to Beijing, not by plane, by train, or bus, having more than 300 is always enough. They only wanted to give him 1,000, but after all, their son was a decent man and not too shabby, so they gritted their teeth and gave him 2,000. This guy has money since he returned to Beijing. Why does he need so much money now? After some questioning, Ding Yi hesitated. The Ding family knew something was wrong and guessed that it must be related to Xiao Qiao. At that time, they patted their thighs and went to get the kitchen knife. They bluntly said that if their son continued to act like crazy, they would not survive. Huang Yakan, at that time, I happened to ask Ding Yi about the IOU, and I ran into that scene. The Ding family has always been willing to take risks. Ding Yi's mother's kitchen knife was placed on his neck, and he made a big gash. There were beads of blood. He came out immediately. Ding Yi was so frightened that he repeatedly waved his hands and said he didn't want 20,000 yuan, and then he was willing to put down the kitchen knife. In the end, Ding Yi only got 5,000 yuan from his parents. Tao Ran smiled. Therefore, Ding Yi still couldn't pay Xiao Qiao's money. Really, very good. It would be better if he and Xiao Qiao are not involved. As long as the Ding family's savings figures don't go up, they will never stop. I think in a few days, this family will also make trouble in Beijing. It will be released on April 1st and will be updated soon. Please subscribe, please subscribe, please subscribe. New books are coming out and you need to subscribe. I humbly ask, thank you all. If you have a monthly ticket, please vote on April 1st. I love you. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 107. Ding Yi came back on the 5th day after Yang Yu arrived home. When he stepped into the house, he was unshaven, looked haggard, and looked pitiful. However, Tao Ran received the news as soon as the dog man and woman arrived in Beijing, and she was even in control of the fact that Xiao Qiao was temporarily settled in a hotel not far from Ding Yi's unit. She also knew that Ding Yi made a special trip to his work before returning home, then went to a private bank's cash machine to withdraw money, sent Xiao Qiao to the supermarket, and returned to his work again before hurriedly going home. Therefore, the scumbag really not only has other bank cards, but he should also have hidden them in his work unit. Ding Yi thought about it all the way before opening the door. He had planned to act in a scene of bitter love, but his scene never came to fruition. Because from the moment he set foot in the house, the low pressure at home scared him. Opening the door, 3 pairs of eyes stared at him. Yang Yu was lying weakly on the sofa, with a pale face and hatred in her eyes. It looked like she had not recovered from a serious illness. Ding Yi was shocked and felt guilty. He had always been doubtful about Yang Yu's surgery, but now it seemed that it was true. Yu, I'm back, how are you? But as soon as he took 2 steps forward with a caring look on his face, a soup bowl and a purple clay pot both shattered at his feet. The soup bowl was thrown by Yang's mother, who had just come out of the kitchen, and it bruised his leg. The scalding hot soup scalded a layer of his leg skin, making him grit his teeth in pain. The purple clay pot was smashed by Father Yang, who was sitting at the table. This hit Ding Yi right in the heart. His pot. This pot cost 6,000. I bought it specially to gain favor with the old man and to improve myself. This is almost the most expensive thing he bought after his marriage. Gone, just gone. Stay away from Xiaoyu, Father Yang and Mother Yang said in unison. Yet Chaoran agreed. Dirty. Ding Yi was panicked. Father Yang and Mother Yang are different from his parents. They are intellectuals and always talk about quality, so Ding Yi has never seen them lose their temper in many years. This is the first time. So at this moment, Ding Yi still hid his anger, put aside his self-esteem, and looked deeply at his wife. Yu, have you had surgery? Are you discharged from the hospital? You. What? It's been 5 days and I still can't be discharged from the hospital? Do you want me to die in the hospital? I do not. Ding Yi, you bastard, Yang's father yelled angrily, then grabbed Ding Yi's water glass and smashed it. I provide you with food, housing, and work. Xiaoyu is so kind to you. You are doing mischief outside, defrauding your family of money, and you dare to lock Xiaoyu at home and almost kill her. Are you still a human being? Do you know that for what you did, not only can we drive you out, but your behavior of seeking wealth and murder can even put you in jail for several years. The words seeking wealth and killing made Ding Yi almost jump. Get a divorce, Yang Yu said calmly without waiting for Ding Yi to explain. Divorce by agreement or divorce by lawsuit, you choose one. These words are naturally meant to scare. Divorce. Never. She hasn't caught Ding Yi's real handle yet, so there's no reason to give Ding Yi the property and car so that he and Sanner can happily spend the Yang family's money. Ding Yi was frightened. He doesn't want a divorce. After a divorce, all his hard work over the years would have been in vain. He wants to be a master. He would never have such a smooth sailing opportunity again. He was afraid that the Yang family would really sue him for detention, and sue him for seeking wealth and murder. The capital is the territory of the Yang family. How can he, a foreigner, fight against it? He will have nothing, right? Even his job will be lost. If Yang Yu's father could get him into the unit, he would naturally have a way to get him out, or let him stay at the bottom of the unit for the rest of his life. In jail? No. Whenever he thinks about the past few days of being detained, the hairs on his back stand up. He was locked up with a bunch of local gangsters. Those people were so scary. He never wanted to go into that kind of place again in his life. Thinking this, his knees weakened. With a pop, the scumbag finally knelt down, and then started to cry bitterly and began to explain, began to beg, began to express his deep love for Yang Yu, and said that everything was a misunderstanding. After begging for a while, he knelt down in front of Father Yang and Mother Yang, made promises one after another, moved the children out, and wiped away tears after tears. Nagging. Chaoran felt sleepy after hearing this. Yang's father and Yang's mother saw that they were almost the same, so they pretended to persuade Yang Yu. Ding Yi also said that as long as Yang Yu takes a step back, he will agree to anything. Tao Ran took a deep breath and then reluctantly. Two conditions. If you agree. I promise. First, I will keep your salary card from now on. You will receive living expenses from me every month. Ken. Second, bring over the family's savings over the past few years and I'll keep them for safekeeping. Tao Ran didn't plan to look for his savings all over the world anymore, he still had to force him to come up with it himself. Ding Yi hesitated. How does this work? His face twitched slightly. All his confidence comes from this money. Otherwise, would he have had to try so hard to coax Yang Yu into handing over his salary card and let him take care of the money? This money has long been regarded as his own private property and his own possessions. You are not short of money either. Yes, just because I'm not short of money, it makes more sense for me to manage the money, right? Don't worry, I won't spend it arbitrarily. Otherwise, I have to worry all the time that you will use the money from the family on Sanur. I have never spent money on other women, and I swear, I will never. If you don't want a divorce, just stop talking nonsense. I'm tired and need to rest. Just one sentence, yes or no. Ding Yi opened his mouth, he didn't want to respond, he didn't want to, he didn't want to, he didn't want to, he didn't want to. All this money was saved by him. Is it easy for him? Taking out this sum would be as satisfying as digging out a piece of his flesh. But he didn't dare to refuse. What can be done? Bear with it? He had endured the marriage before and even knelt on his knees. Is this still missing? As long as he gets through this crisis, he will always rise again. The days are long, and one day, they will have to repay the humiliation today in full. No, repay it 100 times. Ding Yi took a few deep breaths and nodded in agreement to these two items. Tao Ran struck while the iron was hot and threw his ID card directly to Ding Yi, asking him to quickly convert his deposit into cash and get it. Now. So urgent, Ding Yi's mouth twitched. Yes, it's so urgent. What if you are lying to me? Ding Yi choked and interrupted with a smile. What did you do with my ID card? I was sick at the time and needed money for medical treatment. I took your card to withdraw money. To avoid disputes, it makes sense to bring your ID card, right? Then why don't you answer my call? I didn't care about it at first, but then the battery ran out. Is there any problem? If not, go back quickly. Get all your deposits quickly. It will be on the shelves tomorrow. Please subscribe and vote monthly. I love you. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 108. An hour later, Ding Yi, who had withdrawn the money, returned home, but only brought 50,000 yuan. Are you kidding us? Everyone in the Yang family was speechless. Ding Yi said solemnly. In the past few years, this is all we have saved. We have spent a lot of money, and we also have to maintain a car and raise a child, so this is all we have. Tao Ran waved his hand and threw Ding Yi's account book directly in his face. Ding Yi's expression suddenly changed. You went to my office to look through things, do you want to lose face? Don't accuse me unjustly. Father Yang spoke loudly and said his daughter's story seriously. I went to your office and I said hello to your boss. You kept Yang Yu's cards. That day she went to the hospital for urgent surgery. We couldn't find the medical insurance card, so we had to go to your office to look for it. I saw this account book locked in the drawer by you, and I thought it was strange, so I took it back. How? Can't you see this ledger? Are you hiding a secret or planning to hide some private money? How come? Just look at it, there is no secret. Ding Yi clenched his fists. That'll do. Mother Yang threw out another prepared account. We help you simply summarize the expenses in the ledger. Because of his background, Ding Yi has always been careful with his calculations, so he has the habit of keeping accounts. The ledger found on his desk came in handy. Over the years, he has kept records of his daily expenses. They had nothing to do for a few days, which was enough for Chaoran and them to calculate a rough account. The accounts are simple. After deducting living expenses, expenses for festivals and other miscellaneous favor expenses from the two people's salary after marriage, there should be a balance of about 200,000. So obviously, Ding Yi only took out these 50,000, which seemed outrageous. Ding Yi, are you trying to swallow money? Don't you have a big appetite? Yang's father's eyes became sharp. You know that, right? It's illegal to transfer and conceal marital property. Ding Yi was so angry that his shoulders were shaking. I didn't swallow the money. You forgot that I had 20,000 yuan in my salary card, and you also took the money in my wallet. He gets angry when he talks about it. As soon as he was arrested and taken to the police station, he called to check the balance of his bank card. It showed that the balance was only in single digits. Is this true? Yang Yu is so hateful. If she hadn't taken all the money from him, would he have been caught? I was in a hurry to get into the hospital. I had no money, so I had to take yours. Thanks to these 30,000 yuan, otherwise I would have died, Chaoran said seriously. So I recognize the 30,000 yuan. Then, after deducting the 30,000 yuan I need for emergency use from the 200,000 yuan, you can give me the remaining 170,000 yuan now. Ding Yi bit his lip. Where did he get 170,000? Yang Yu never cared about money. He always used the money as his own savings. Who would have thought that this family was so despicable that they would check his accounts? He was afraid that someone would see the account book, so he hid it in his office and locked it. Who would have thought that they would go to his office to pick the lock? This family is so disgusting. He deserves to be exterminated. What a scholarly family, bah. Not as good as bullshit. Yes. Logically, he should have 200,000. But over the years, he has been trying different ways to secretly support his family, hasn't he? A subsidy of 20,000 yuan a year will be 80,000 yuan in 4 years. When he went home a few days ago, he originally thought that his father-in-law and mother-in-law would reimburse him, so he took out 50,000 yuan in one go for expenses, but who knew that it would be in vain. After arriving in Beijing today, he also gave Chiao 20,000 yuan. 5,000 was paid back to her, and the remaining money allowed her to rent a house and buy some daily necessities in the past few days. He had to spend this money. In addition, he also promised his family that he would use 30,000 yuan in the next few days to make up for the money spent on the banquet a few days ago, and also promised the village to settle the IOU. Originally, he was thinking of using the savings in his account to fill the hole first, so that he could barely use it. But who would have thought that as soon as he got home, without even taking a breath, the Yang family would start asking for money. After returning to his hometown and withdrawing 50,000 yuan, his account only had more than 70,000 yuan left. After giving Chiao 20,000 yuan, there was less than 60,000 yuan left. He was heartbroken. If this money is given to Yang Yu, then the money he promised to his family and the village will not be paid for the time being. But just now he took them all out and brought them to Yang Yu. How shameful that the Yang family is still not satisfied. The remaining savings are not as much as 170,000, a lot of odds and ends. I didn't keep the accounts. The odds and ends are worth 10,000 to you, and you can take out 160,000. What? You can't get it out? Where's the money? Did you swallow it? Transfer it? Or did you raise 3 children? You also know that I have been learning how to invest from the people in the office. So you take the 50,000 yuan and the remaining money, and I will give it to you after I withdraw the money from the investment. Okay. Ding Yi could only say this. Yang Yu already knew that his parents were greedy for money to repair the house. If he knew that he had spent all his savings to support the family over the years, he would definitely continue to refuse and accuse their family of fraud. At that time, we still have to force him to go home and ask for money. He could no longer make Yang Yu angry or add fuel to the fire. So the top priority is to appease. Ding Yi comforted himself, just be patient and get through this period of time. How much money did you invest? 100,000. Almost. When can we withdraw? As soon as possible. Write me a note. Write again. As long as you make a promise. Chao Ran's eyes flashed slightly. Ding Yi was secretly relieved. No need to write a deadline or a reason. What's so scary about that? Okay. I'll write it now. Then it's settled. You put your money together and give me 60,000 today. The remaining 100,000 will be given to me when your investment money comes out. Ding Yi gritted his teeth. 60,000. This meant that all the money he and his mother received the day before yesterday had to be put in. How could this damn woman be so sure of how much money he had on him? If all the money is taken out, wouldn't he be back before liberation overnight? Wasn't his past few years in vain? Moreover, the 5,000 given by his mother was promised to be borrowed by him, and he promised to pay it back this week. If this is not enough, the family will be in trouble. Ding Yi was upset. Forget it, we have already come this far, so we can only go on bravely. Yu, I will let you see my sincerity. Ding Yi brought 60,000 yuan to his wife. Chao Ran was very satisfied and gave the money directly to his parents and asked them to save it on their behalf. That's right, she has only been here a few days, and she has already helped Yang Yu get back hundreds of thousands in debt that was impossible to get back in the first place. She needs to keep up her efforts. Yang's father and Yang's mother got up and went home. Ding Yi pretended to stay. After a few more scoldings, he finally sent his father-in-law and mother-in-law away. Ding Yi originally planned to coax Yang Yu, but there was a sound behind him and his wife had already entered the house and locked the door. Yu, why did you lock the door? You had an operation, let me take care of you. No, I'm afraid I won't be able to sleep when I see you. Stay away from me. But I have to get my clothes and take a shower. Open the door and I won't disturb you. I'll cook for you after I take a shower. I forgot to tell you that all your things are in the guest room. Just sleep in the guest room. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 109. Ding Yi clenched his fists and gritted his teeth at Yang Yu's door. Tolerate. Anyway, I have endured it for so many years. Entering the guest room, he almost had a heart attack. All his belongings were stuffed into 2 snakeskin bags, the kind that hold fertilizer. What do you think of him? This family is so abominable. One day, he will have them all kneel at his feet, crying and begging him. After confirming that Ding Yi had gone to the bathroom, Chao Ran opened the door and took his suitcase back to the room. As soon as she opened the box, she couldn't help but sneer. Someone declared war on her. On the top layer of her clothes in the box, there was a slender hair, long and straight, black, and it was not hers. In the box, the fragrance is fragrant. There was lipstick on her white shirt. The scent was the same as that in Chiao's room that night, and the lipstick was Barbie pink. Besides that Chiao, who else could be the person who left these traces? She really took a lot of trouble to let herself identify them at a glance. Thinking about it, most of these were the malicious behaviors she had done with Chiao in the hotel that night with the scumbag Chen Xiao. The scumbag only cares about stealing food and never thinks that the person next to him also has xiaojuju in his heart. Obviously, Miss Xiao Xiao hasn't seen through Ding Yi's nature of being a soft boiler and a hard boiler, so she wants to break into the house, and she can't wait to take revenge by replacing Yang Yu. Just imagine how furious Yang Yu would be when she saw that her underwear was contaminated by San'er. The most basic thing is to have a big quarrel with Ding Yi, right? Due to the events of the past few days, her relationship with Ding Yi was already in jeopardy. Another blow would undoubtedly make things worse. If Xiao Xiao is lucky enough and Yang Yu and Ding Yi divorce, she will achieve her wish. Even if it fails, if this thorn is buried, it will grow into a cancer sooner or later. And those two people had already had an affair, and their relationship had progressed further. They had physical and mental communication, and Xiao Xiao had gained confidence. With this in mind, Xiao Xiao sent this gift. She dared to do this, and she was not afraid of being questioned by Ding Yi. Anyway, it's by Lian. When the time comes, she can just wipe her tears and say she was careless. Why? Tao Ran sighed. What a pity these clothes are. Can't have it? According to her intention, she wanted to throw them all away, but no. Not only did she not throw it away, she also had to keep it well. Moreover, she didn't plan to confront Ding Yi. How could she get what Xiao Xiao wanted? Xiao Xiao wants her to make trouble, but she won't. If she just pressed the button without sending a message, then the plan would fail and Xiao Xiao would be left scratching her head and feeling uncomfortable, right? Little trick. Not on the stage. Tao Ran suddenly thought of Yang Yu's memory. Was it not a coincidence that he found Xiao Xiao when he returned to his old house? Could it be that Xiao Xiao, who was pregnant and couldn't wait, deliberately let Yang Yu find out that Ding Yi had a third son like her, and wanted to use this method to provoke Yang Yu's anger and force Ding Yi to fight quickly? This kind of conjecture is a bit chilling. But regardless of whether the speculation is true or false, there is no doubt that Ding Yi, his family, and Xiao Xiao are all scum that needs to be dealt with. After Ding Yi went to work the next day, Tao Ran walked out of the room. She asked Yang Yu for 5 more days of sick leave, so she still had a rest today. After locking the door, she went for a morning run as she did the previous few days. Over the past few days, she has been able to run to the park in one breath. Play a sword game with the old man, take the old man to buy groceries with him, and then go to Yang's father and mother's place to teach and amuse the children and have dinner with the family. The life is very comfortable, which is what Tao Ran likes. She has never had parents since she can remember, so she has never experienced the joy of 4 generations living under the same roof. She is willing to stay with the Yang family every day, even if all she can do is wash vegetables and dishes, scramble an egg, boil water and make tea, tell a joke, and secretly enjoy the doting love from her parents and relatives. She envied Yang Yu so much. Even if Yang Yu didn't ask for this kind of beauty, she still wanted to protect it. After her child took a nap in the afternoon, she went to the gym to practice for a while. While she was practicing strength, the scumbag got a message and asked her what she wanted to eat tonight and wanted to cook her dinner. I'm eating at my parents' place. I also. Don't come, we won't be able to eat if you come. Then I will pick you up and take you home tonight. No, I won't go back if it's too late. She directly hung up the call from the scumbag. After Tao Ran went to wash up, he knocked on the door of Zhang Chen's office. Busy. If you invite me to dinner or have business to do, then I don't need to be busy. The man smiled brightly. I can treat you to dinner. But there are conditions in exchange. 10 minutes later, Tao Ran sat in Zhang Chen's car. Anyway, she had nothing to do. She planned to go to the private meeting of the doggy couple and inspect the work of these professionals. Zhang Chen is an off-road vehicle, the kind that doesn't look ostentatious but has very good actual performance. Equipped with coated glass, she can see outside, but cannot see inside, so she can safely follow her in the car. The car is fully equipped with food and supplies, the passenger drawer is open, and everything from a flashlight to a walkie-talkie to a telescope is ready. In the trunk, there are boxes of purified water instant noodles. From professional photography equipment, headphones to small DV, everything is fully equipped. Are you still satisfied? It's pretty good. It's more professional than the paparazzi's outfit. Thank you for the compliment. Don't worry. We will serve you well. Zhang Chen's driving skills are also very good, not fancy but practical. He reversed the car in place and accurately parked downstairs of Ding Yi's unit. But are you sure Ding Yi will go find Xiao Xiao today? Yes, when the love was getting stronger, the scumbag didn't have to go home to socialize with her, so he naturally went to Jiyahua to relieve his worries. As for Sanur, who has just arrived and is unfamiliar with the place, he will definitely try his best to make the scumbag addicted to food. Xiao Xiao has been following Xiao Wu. She walked around Ding Yi's workplace for a while at noon today, and then went to the supermarket. She is still in the hotel. Ding Yi is about to get off work. Half an hour later, Ding Yi drove out of the unit. Zhang Chen frowned and followed Ding Yi's car. Sure enough, the guy was not heading home, but to the hotel where Xiao Xiao was staying 2 streets away. Zhang Chen felt sick. Why did you leave the car to him? Tao Ran smiled lightly. If we don't leave it to him, how can we let him establish an elite image in front of Sanur? How can Sanur be so determined to follow him? I'll give them this advantage. It won't last long anyway. Now Ding Yi still has a few small coins on hand. When he can't even afford to fill up the tank, he will naturally be reluctant to drive. Moreover, there will be disappointment if there is a gap. The greater Xiao Xiao's hope for a better and happy life now, the more painful it will be when she is knocked back to her original shape in the future. Looking at you like this, do you plan to take a long-term approach to catch big fish? Zhang Chen took a deep look at the people around him. A society ruled by law, no matter how angry I am, I can't kill people and set fires. Those people caused Yang Yu's family to be destroyed. Ordinary methods are not considered revenge at all against them. Besides, what's the point of just fishing? The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 110. Zhang Chen said seriously. As long as it doesn't break the law, I can help you. It doesn't have to be a big burden. We are not only customers, but also friends. When something happens, just say hello, even in the middle of the night. If you are tired, just stop. We are not bad at that. Money. He secretly used the word we. Thank you. Tao Ran just pretended not to hear. By the way, I've thought about it. Aren't you going to treat me to dinner? Go to your parents' place to eat? My grandpa is not here. I want to go see your parents. I haven't seen them for a long time. Go say hello. Tao Ran remembered that she had just seen 2 gift boxes in the trunk, a box of tea and a box of vitamins. Was she prepared in advance? In front of the hotel, Xiao Xiao was already waiting there. Her hair has been styled and hung loosely on her shoulders. She is wearing a brand new dark pink skirt, brand new white high heels and bag. Although it is still a bit rustic, the configuration has a bit of a city person's taste. It is obvious that her image has been ruined. Less money. Her appearance is still outstanding, and her bright eyes are lingering. She is the kind of pure and lustful image that men like most. Ugly people often cause mischief, Zhang Chen cursed. Don't say anything against your will. Ding Yi is blind, but I am not. Zhang Chen glanced at Yang Yu. She's not as good as you. What do you mean it's worse? Tao Ran hissed, singles rely on their strength. Seeing Ding Yi driving in high spirits, Xiao Xiao held up her skirt, smiled sweetly like a girl, and trotted towards him. Affectation. Tao Ran looked at Zhang Chen, whose mouth corners were lowered, but couldn't help but laugh. I haven't expressed my opinion yet, why should he be so indignant? Ding and Yi went straight to a nearby community. There was already an agent waiting for them, so the two of them went directly to a unit to look at the apartment. They were very efficient. After looking at 3 apartments, they quickly selected one of them and rented it. Zhang Chen ordered his people to follow him throughout the process, and within a few minutes, the specific address of the small finely decorated apartment the two rented was in Taoran's hands. Okay. A step to take revenge on the scumbag, drive him out of the house. All beginnings are hard. You know, at this point in the plot, nothing happened to Xiao Xiao. That's why Taoran pushed the two people to cut things in advance and keep them in order. Finally, Xiao Xiao succeeded in letting Ding Yi fall into it step by step. After having the golden house Kang Xiao, the plan becomes simple. Taoran felt happy, knowing that the opportunity she was waiting for would come soon. After coming out of the rental house, Ding Yi took Xiao Xiao to a nearby supermarket and bought a lot of daily necessities, from pots and pans to pillows and bedding. The two of them moved in and out sweetly, as if they were a couple. Taoran took Zhang Chen's camera and clicked it repeatedly. From the hotel to the rental house to the supermarket, she took many beautiful photos that satisfied her. I always feel that something is missing. It's a pity even though it's here the shortcomings are huge. Practical. It's a done deal. They've all gone back to the house, what else do you have in mind? I want to see what you are capable of. You can't do anything illegal. I won't trick you, Taoran narrowed his eyes. Let's go, those two people probably need to clean up first. Call your brothers who are following those two people, and I'll treat you to dinner. Those two people are so happy to have a love nest, they have to give them some time to be intimate with each other. You did it on purpose, right? Didn't you mean to go to your parents' place for dinner? You don't want to, Zhang Chen couldn't hide his disappointment in his words. There will be a chance in the future. I really don't want to. Taoran was not Yang Yu, and she didn't want to help Yang Yu make random choices. She couldn't give Zhang Chen hope randomly. Let Yang Yu decide whether to give Zhang Chen a chance or not. Of course, besides this reason, she has more important things to do. After eating, we have to do some business. After having a meal at a nearby restaurant, following Taoran's instructions, Zhang Chen's two brothers each changed into a set of clothes. Zhang Chen's company's standard black security uniform is no different from the attire of ordinary community security guards. After going to the printing shop to fill out the form and getting pen and paper, they knocked on the door of Xiao Xiao's rental house. Who is it? Xiao Xiao's voice came 3 seconds later. Community security, register. 3 minutes later, Xiao Xiao arrived at the door. Register for what? Hello, I heard that this apartment has been rented out. Let's do a population registration as usual. This community is quite big, with 4 gates in the southeast, northwest, and dozens of security guards. Taoran was sure that no matter how she played, it would be difficult for Xiao Xiao to get a handle on her. Wait a moment. Xiao Xiao opened the door as expected. She had messy hair, a flushed face, messy clothes, and 2 red marks on her neck. It was clear what she was doing just now. Register here. Xiao Xiao took the form and glanced at it without any doubts. She looked irritated, complaining that there was trouble in the city. Can we go in? We also need to register your ID card and other materials. The 2 young men were already upright, but now they straightened their backs and looked very reliable. The Olympics are coming soon, and the control and security checks in and out of the capital are very strict. Please forgive me. In this way, the 2 little brothers successfully entered the house. After that, one of them pestered Xiao Xiao and asked questions, while the other looked around and quickly pressed the shutter button of the small camera in his hand. The door is ajar. Ding Yi should be in the room. Girl, you just said that this house is for 1 person? But why? The little brother fixed his eyes on the men's leather shoes at the door and the 2 fast food on the table. Oh, and my husband. Chiao Chiao's face turned red again. When the contract was signed today, a young man from upstairs came downstairs to buy food. When he saw that they were signing the contract with the agency, he came over to say hello and looked at her several times. Ding Yi was unhappy at the time, and later told her that by saying that she was married in front of outsiders, she could avoid a lot of trouble. She thought the same thing. She had just arrived, and there was a lot of people around her. She was so young and beautiful, what if someone took advantage of her? Ding Yi couldn't always accompany her, so this status was more appropriate. Then please, sir, please come out and register, the little brother shouted to the door and knocked on the door. Ding Yi could only open the door and show up. There was nothing but chaos in the room. Ding Yi, on the other hand, was only wearing autumn clothes and long trousers. Like Chiao Chiao, he had a cot head, his face was still flushed, and his hair was a little wet. I have a registered permanent residence in Beijing. I am not a foreigner. I don't need to register, he flashed his ID card. Okay, the little brother looked at the ID card and nodded. The two of them didn't stay long and left now. A quarter of an hour later, the digital camera and voice recorder were in Taoran's hands. She smiled brightly, and Zhang Chen was speechless. Is this the feeling of having caught a traitor? Taoran was really happy. Chiao Chiao and Ding Yi refer to each other as husband and wife in front of outsiders and have the fact of living together. Then they are one step closer to a true de facto marriage. In a few days, she will drive the scumbag away completely.